Welcome to Mzansi vs. TV. Today, we are counting down our picks for the top 10 Trevor Noah jokes that only South Africans understand. These are the bits, the stories, and the absolute zingers that flew right over international heads but hit Mzansi viewers like a minibus taxi at full speed. If you watched Trevor Noah perform in Johannesburg versus his American specials and wondered why the South African crowds laughed so much harder at certain jokes, this is your moment of understanding. Let us dive in.
The side is wearing like blue overalls, and he's like, Trevor! And I look and he's like, wait there!
Number 10. The apartheid extreme sports joke. Trevor describes apartheid as South Africa's extreme sport, comparing it to white Americans relaxing in California. He says, and we quote, "Black people don't do those things. It's not their world. That's not necessary for us."
Well, it's not necessary for us. Yeah, apartheid was our extreme sports. We just like, no, we're fine.
Only South Africans sitting in a post-apartheid society can truly laugh at this one, because international audiences hear the word apartheid and their faces go serious. But South Africans, we lived it, we survived it, and now we can laugh about how insanely dangerous and chaotic it was. It takes a special kind of humor to turn state-sanctioned racism into a comedy bit that your own mother finds hilarious. That is distinctly South African. That is Trevor. Number 9. The coloured identity joke. Trevor has built an entire career around being coloured in South Africa, specifically a mixed-race child under apartheid when his very existence was illegal. The Immorality Act made his parents' relationship a crime. His birth was literally against the law.
So why you talk like that? I guess I'm just different. Oh, it's because you're those banana types, ne? The what? Those banana types. You must yellow on the outside, but you white on the inside, ne?
Now, only in South Africa does the word coloured mean something this specific. International audiences have no frame of reference. In America, people are confused by the term entirely. But every South African, regardless of their own racial classification, immediately understands the nuance of what Trevor is saying. He is not just cracking jokes about his identity. He is cracking jokes about a system that literally criminalized love. That context makes every punchline sharper.
Are you from Cape Town? No. Why? No, I don't know. I just thought you were. Why would you think that? I don't know, hey?
Number 8. The Daywalker joke. The term Daywalker, the title of his first special, comes from a specific South African context. During apartheid, albino people were sometimes targeted for violence because of superstitious beliefs. Trevor's light skin and ambiguous appearance meant some people in South Africa literally thought he was an albino.
People did not put one and one together with me. In fact, when I came home, people in the township, assumed that I was an albino.
The genius is that Daywalker works as a vampire joke for international audiences. But South Africans? We get the deeper, darker layer. We understand the specific weirdness and danger of being visibly different in South Africa during that era. It is a joke that would not land the same way anywhere else on earth.
No, before anything else, gents, have you heard? There's one of us, but he's different. What do you mean? He's different.
Number 7. The Afrikaans rugby fan bit. Trevor takes a hilarious dig at white Afrikaans-speaking South Africans and their obsessive love of rugby. He describes them with this infectious energy about how they support the Springboks with an almost religious devotion. The jokes about their passion, their commitment, their slightly unhinged enthusiasm. It all lands differently if you have actually experienced an Afrikaans rugby fan in real life.
Last week, the Springboks lost. People came to the show, they were grumpy. This was like a row of Afrikaans guys the whole time just looking at me like...
International audiences might find it funny, but South Africans find it hilarious because we have all met these people. We have all watched a Springboks match at a local rugby club. We have experienced the raw, unfiltered passion of a nation that literally cares more about rugby than most things. Trevor captures that perfectly, and only someone who grew up in South Africa could.
Come on, we don't need that violence in this sport. Come on. And they go, play the game. That's better.
Number 6. The Bafana Bafana Roast. Trevor describes the South African national football team, Bafana Bafana, as a special needs learner compared to the Springboks, who he calls the A student.
Yeah, Bafana's like our special child, like, you know. Chris there, like, hey, welcome home, Bafanas, welcome. What happened? What happened? Oh, you got a D, well done.
This joke is absolutely devastating and makes no sense to people outside South Africa. But South Africans know the tragedy here. We have one of the most talented football nations on the continent, and our national team consistently underperforms. We accept mediocrity. We have just given up. And Trevor, in one sentence, captures decades of national disappointment. It is comedy born from pain, the kind of pain only a South African can fully appreciate.
Bafana Bafana beat Botswana. Yes, the great footballing nation that is Botswana. Destroyed them.
Number 5. The school trip survival story. Trevor has told stories about school trips in South Africa that involve chaos, danger, and characters that could only exist in Mzansi. The way he describes the tension, the hierarchy, the absolute unpredictability of South African public spaces is something only South Africans viscerally understand. International audiences laugh at the absurdity. South Africans laugh while also thinking, yeah, that has definitely happened. It is the kind of humour born from surviving genuinely sketchy situations and then being able to laugh about it years later. That is peak South African comedy. Number 4. The coloured versus black experience in America. Trevor has this routine where he flies to America, and despite travelling for 18 hours, he is still not black enough when he arrives. The punchline changes depending on the audience. In South Africa, he says he lands and realizes he is now Mexican. In America, he changes it to Puerto Rican.
Because if you come out to America, they'll label you as black. I said, really? And he was like, hell yeah.
This joke is genius because it requires South Africans to understand the specific colonial history of how coloured identity was weaponized as a middle category in apartheid, and then how that identity suddenly means nothing in America. It is a joke about privilege, identity politics, and the absurdity of racial classification systems. Only someone who lived through the South African version could deliver it with this precision.
The only catch is, and nobody tells you this, you have to be liked and successful first. Before then, they say you mixed. You achieve success, and you get upgraded to black.
Number 3. The French accent ordering at a French restaurant bit. Trevor jokes about South Africans struggling to order at French restaurants. We murder the French language, we butcher the accent, and we end up sounding like we are trying to perform a one-man show about confusion. The bit is about how Africans are pressured to conform to Western linguistic standards and how we fail spectacularly at this. For South Africans, this is gold because we have all either done this or watched someone do this. We have all experienced the awkwardness of trying to sound sophisticated and instead sounding like we are ordering at a garage. It is a joke about South African insecurity, South African humility, and South African survival humour all rolled into one. Number 2. The mixed race family under apartheid stories. Trevor's entire career is built on stories about his Swiss-German father and his Xhosa mother in apartheid South Africa. The way he describes their relationship being illegal, the way he describes not fitting in anywhere, these are profoundly South African jokes. The punchlines about being too white for the black community, too black for the white community, and somehow landing in the coloured category is a joke that only makes sense if you understand the specific racial architecture of apartheid. International audiences hear the words and find it shocking. South Africans hear it and think, yes, and that is still an issue today. It is comedy with immediate historical and contemporary resonance that cannot be replicated anywhere else. Number 1. Apartheid as a concept that only South Africans lived. Every single Trevor Noah joke about apartheid, about being illegal, about the insanity of a government that criminalized interracial relationships only truly lands with South Africans.
And so they got together, my parents, black mom, white dad, which was against the law, but they didn't care.
Because we are the only people on earth who lived through it. We are the only people who can laugh at it with the specific mix of dark humor, pain, survival, and triumph. Trevor Noah is not just a comedian. He is a South African griot, a storyteller documenting the experience of apartheid and post-apartheid existence through comedy. Every joke, every accent, every bit of self-deprecation is built on a foundation that only Mzansi truly understands. He turned the worst chapter of our national history into art so brilliant that the world watches it, even when they do not fully understand. But we do, and that makes every single joke feel like home.
Apartheid was a law in the country that made it illegal for black and white people to mix, which was awkward for me because I grew up in a mixed family.
And that is our list. South Africans, did we get them all? What is your favorite Trevor Noah joke that nobody outside the country would understand? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to Watch Mojo for more rankings and lists. And remember, if you are not laughing at apartheid jokes by now, you are either not South African or you still do not understand South African humor. We'll see you in the next one.